Purple Political Talk here, and today we're gonna go through my house predictions, and I'm just gonna talk about it because I'm not gonna go through and fill in every single race because then we would be here for God knows how long, and probably like an hour or two. But today what we're actually going to be doing is just talking about generally what are going to be the trends and things like that. And before we begin, I just want to say that thank you so much guys for all the support I've been getting lately. And just a heads up for you guys, I don't want to leave you guys hanging or anything. Tomorrow I'm going on vacation, so may or may not be able to post. I'm probably going to be able to, but anyways, I will see what I can do. And so let's just get the video started. So this house election is going to be interesting. Because on one side, we have Democrats who have a bunch of seats that, and straight out of the bat, I mean, if you look at the kind of rating summary, you can see that Democrats with only winning the races that I have in the likely and the lane column, they already win the House of Representatives. And may that be by one seat? Well, it is. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. And a majority is a majority. Well, in technically speaking, if you're the Democratic Party, you need that huge majority because you're always going to have that 12 vote, 10 vote kind of people that vote differently from you because it's a big caucus. So maybe not having those closed majorities might not be a good thing, but certainly they should be pretty safe. I just want to talk about how I think that who are the most vulnerable Democrats right now. Looking at this, we can say that first of all, it's suburban Democrats. Those are the Democrats that are somewhat more in trouble. And Democrats who are representing in Republican states. And a lot of these things we can see. McBath, she's a Democrat that lives she's a suburban Democrat. These three Iowa districts are pretty conservative states. Maine 2nd Congressional District is always a pretty weird district. Maine 7th Congressional District is always a close district, and it has been over the last couple of times. New Jersey's 3rd is a suburban district. New Mexico's 2nd, it's more of a rural district, but it still does matter. And that's the biggest trend that we've seen. It's either you're a suburban district or you're a very conservative state district. And at the end of the day, that is going to matter. Why? Because look, Democrats could start losing stuff in the majority when it comes to the suburbs. People might call me crazy. You might call me whatever you want. But right now, I think Democrats are kind of screwed when it comes to the suburbs. Day by day, as more of these scandals are released from the 2020 election, all these different things we're getting Joe Biden and Democratic campaigns, those things are getting released and it's probably going to hurt them. And I don't think they paint a good picture with the suburban voters for one reason. I personally think Black Lives Matter is a movement that should be followed. I mean, Black lives do matter, and all lives matter for that matter. But a lot of people are not realizing that a lot of this money collected going to Black Lives Matter just goes directly. A lot of it, for the most part, goes directly to campaigns. Which at the end of the day, that's not all the money is used for, and we don't really have a way of knowing that. But so a good part of the money is donated to Democrats. But listen, I think that could affect Democratic Party, kind of like branding themselves along with Black Lives Matter. For one reason, it's the suburbs. The suburbs are the news media, I mean, whether it be CNN, Fox, the local news stations. The media is painting Black Lives Matter as this thing where we see that it's kind of all funded by Democrats and it's by Democrats. And if Donald Trump is able, and the Republican Party in general, is able to pull that message, I think Democrats would be screwed for life. Because at the end of the day, that would make these races in the suburbs just directly go to the Republican Party. Am I saying that these Black Lives Matter things are directly from the Democrats? No. What I'm saying is that the media is painting it like that. So for a reason, we might be able to see something interesting like that happen. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's not that out of the norm. And we can honestly see a lot of these house elections shake from one side to the other in a matter of seconds. Breaking news, blah, 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 blah. And then, boom, there we have. The race has completely flipped. Whether it is, I don't know, assault allegations, whether it is corruption allegations, all these different things really do matter, and that is one thing that's going to be very interesting to see during this race. And honestly, the House of Representatives look like it's going to be one of the most interesting races, generally speaking, in a long time. The reason is because, look, although we might have projections and all of this that is just saying Democrats are going to win it, and I'm not going to say that Democrats don't have a huge chance of winning, because if we actually come and analyze it, Democrats are winning the House of Representatives by a very good margin. But now, what do we not know yet? We don't know if anything big is going to happen in the next couple of days. Whether it be what I just told you, and the Republican Party kind of puts like all the destruction of cities and things like that towards the Democratic Party. And I'm not saying that will happen, for example, but realistically speaking, I wouldn't be surprised if the Republican Party does something like that. And looking at House races, those are some of the people that are most affected by this. Yeah, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are going to be affected by any scandals they get, but the ones down at the bottom of the ticket are the ones that are truly being affected. They're the people that have less funds to kind of say, this is not true, this is not right. And then when voters go out and see that, they're going to be confused. And then the voters really might vote differently than like not down ballot. And Democrats, if Joe Biden kind of unravels a little bit, which I think Joe Biden will start unraveling soon with scandals and maybe some Ukraine things and things like that. If that starts to unravel, which I'm not saying it will, and Donald Trump is unraveling right now, and it's unraveling quick. And if that happens to the Democratic Party, I guess the election is now an open playing field. But as of right now, Joe Biden and the Democrats have a very clear advantage in the House of Representatives. And looking at it, we can tell that the Democrats just really need to keep a down low profile and just simply just go and win these down ballot races. Whether it be in the United States Senate, whether it be a governor's race in Missouri or Montana, whether it be some Senate races, whether it be one of these House races, all of these down ballot races are the most affected. Because look, I think after you analyze it, more important is to have control of Congress than have control of the presidency. Yeah, with the president you have influence and things like that. But other than that, what are the benefits? If the Congress is controlled by the opposite party, you're not going to be able to do absolutely anything. Which, I mean, for Republicans, I mean, when they had both chambers of Congress before the 2018 midterms, that was the greatest thing in the world. But now you see that nothing is getting done across the country. Yeah, we've seen some police bills and things like that, but that is because of very big, unanimous countrywide events that people have gathered behind and say this is wrong and we're going to change it. And at the end of the day, Congress is more powerful than the president. Although it's not supposed to be that way, right now, the way that politics has evolved in the 21st century and the way we see it now, Congress is more powerful. And honestly, that is why we see some of these congressmen and senators just staying in the power because they got lobby money and things like that. And that truly shows the real power of Congress. Because the president doesn't get lobbied. Yeah, he might, but the majority of money does not go to the president. It goes directly to Congress, the ones who make the laws. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters, to have control of Congress. This point in time, Democrats are looking very well to win the election. Republicans should be extremely worried, like with everything else. I mean, and in a worst case scenario, according to this projection, we could be seeing a 165 to whatever the difference of that is. I think that would be, that would be about 435, take away 30, that's like 335, something like that, which is a big majority. 218 is the middle of the pack. And at the end of the day, look guys, I'm not going to argue that the House of Representatives is not going to be close, because truly it's not going to be close. It's going to be pretty much of a landslide. But as of right now, I guess. But things are going to change, and this presidential election pattern has been crazy. I'm going to make a video about that because that is something crazy, and I just want to see if all this is just a coincidence or it's related to something. And guys, I think that honestly, just look at these elections, the polls, look at whatever the media is telling you. Just take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it at face value. For example, for polls, I would just say give or take the margin of error, and then from there, work from there and whatever. And all those things really do matter because the media is going to be very biased. Where you're watching Fox News, your local TV channel, or CNN. All the different medias have biases. And that's one big problem in American society. And that's why we can probably see something that is not being said. don't be surprised if this map goes more than like the half of the Democratic toss-up seats to the Republican Party. And at the end of the day, these are going to be close races. And the 2020 election will be close. Right now, is it close? No. But the closer we get to election day, the more scandals, the more different things, the more election October surprises, all these different things that really truly affect elections are going to come out and bite whoever is running for a candidate in the butt. And at the end of the day, just take everything with a grain of salt. These predictions, any other prediction you see on YouTube, everything, just take it with a grain of salt. Because these polls, these projections, they're not final say. The final say is up to the American people to go out and decide who is going to lead the country. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. If so, please just like and subscribe if you're not yet so. And please turn on post notifications. And guys, if you want to become a patron and get exclusive updates, be shouted out in one of my videos, and even get private classes from me how to make an election or an election video, just go down to the Patreon link down below and sign up to become one of my patrons. There's different tiers with different benefits each, and it's just a great opportunity to create more for your political YouTube channel. So guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you pretty soon. Bye.